So, roll call.
Elvira Diaz,
Present?
T. Trent,
Here.
Roberto Castillo.
Here.
Jarrell Green,
Here.
Rose Mesa, Akia Sanders.
Here.
And Michael Scherzer is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We're going to step public comment. Public comment, we have Chile Diaz. Chile Diaz is going to talk about the pre-law leadership scholarship. She's my daughter, just by the way.
Yeah, point of personal privilege, I'm Elvira's daughter. So I wanted to talk to you all about a scholarship at the University of Nevada, Reno called the Shirley Diaz Pre-Law Leaders Scholarship. At the moment, it's an endowment, so the university requires that any scholarship endowment reach $25,000 funding before it can dole out scholarships to students. It's currently funded at $15,000, I want to say, but if this committee knows of any law firms or lawyers or anyone who's interested in donating to that endowment so that it can be sooner available for students to use the scholarship money, that would be helpful. And then in the future, once the endowment is fully funded, I will be happy to come back and report that so that to the extent there are any undergraduate students that you know who are interested in going to law school, they can apply for the scholarship. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shirley. Any questions?
Shirley, this is Jarrell Green for the record. Thank you so much for coming and proposing that. I know that Debbie Reynolds and her firm recently set one up, an endowment up for the Upward Bound program at the university. So I know that there are partners available. So we'll definitely keep an eye out for those.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you. Any other question? Okay. Thank you so much, Shirley. So we're going to go to the item number 4, is approval for the agenda. So who wants to move to approve the motion to approve? Okay. Aken Sander is a motion to approve, second by Gerald Green. And then let's vote.
Madam Chair, if we could get the motion and the second verbally as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
The move the agenda by Keka Sanders. No?
I move to approve the agenda as submitted, moved by Akia Sanders.
A second?
Jarrell Green for the record. I move to second the motion.
Okay, we have one member, Rosa Mesa is coming, so we're going to wait for her to approve the agenda. Okay, everybody, we have 6 yes, no, 0 no's, and abstain, and the result of this is pass. Thank you. Number 5, we're going to do the approval of the minutes.
Roberto Castillo, for the record, I move to approve the minutes.
Roberta, do you want to second it? Because I thought I was clicking
Roberto
after you.
Castillo, for the record, I second the motion.
You can say that you approve.
Roberta, you were not fast enough. T-Tran, move to approve the minutes for the Sparks Equity and Inclusion Advisory Board meeting of May 9th, 2023 is submitted.
Okay, let's vote.
Second.
Didn't I say
Just,
it?
if you'll just say second now that she's.
Roberto Castillo, for the
verbally
record,
made the
I
motion.
second the motion.
Okay, motion is approved. We have 5 yes, 1 abstain. Oh, no, you need to vote it.
I did, didn't I?
I think so.
Thank you.
Or will you say aye for the record?
I.
Thank you.
So we have result pass, and we have, did you fix it in here? Okay. Very good. Okay, let's see. 1 second, let me see. is being passed, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to go to the item number 6. We have a presentation. This presentation is I'm so happy to have our friends for Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society. They're going to tell us some amazing stuff that's happening actually in our state and our city too, but it's our state. So we're going to wait for the document to be put in the computer.
Can I log into my Gmail? Okay, cool.
So let's wait for a little technology just to put the drive into the computer so we can see it. And while we're waiting, I'm going to say that Rose Mesa is here attending this meeting. Yes.
Hey, Rose.
It's raining in Sparks really bad, so a lot of traffic.
She's gonna lock herself out of her again. Wait. Yeah.
We sent it to you if you want to see it one more time. Oh, sorry. No, because we can't remember our passwords. Because automation is a perk and a curse at the same time.
Madam Chair, if we could take perhaps a 5-minute recess, Ms. Bogan can go get that on a thumb drive for us and we can be good to
Can we
go.
take a 5-minute break to fix the technology?
Thank you.
Thank you. We will.
Oh, that's okay.
If you want to put some hold music, I can.
We're taking a 5-minute break.
Yes, exactly. You are the chair.
Okay, we're back from our break, and we're going to start with the presentation of the Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society. They're just going to give us a great event that's happening and great news for this in the state of Nevada, and a big event. Go for it. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I was saying. Okay.
Hello, my name is Jessica Van. I serve as president of the Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society, also known as NEBCIS. Oddly enough, this is a picture from last year's Juneteenth celebration. So we just kind of wanted to introduce who we are, not just for the event, but who we are beyond, the other 364 days. So our mission is, the Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society's mission is to promote Black cultural awareness and the understanding of its traditions and history while empowering the Black community, communities of color, and the community at large to assert their value and engage in social, cultural change. So, if you're not from here, you realize that it used to be a really centralized location where people would live. I guess in Sparks, that would be like the Rock area, Prater area. And now, with new implants, with new people that are coming, we're sparse and we're all over the place. And so we are looking to kind of revitalize what NEBCIS meant before. We're a 35-year-old organization, but we were trying to reimagine what that looks like now. And so with our vision statement, we've implemented 5 pillars because culture is such a vast conversation, and especially with Black culture, so we wanted to focus on these 5 things. One is cultural awareness and education, faith-based engagement, holistic health, civic engagement, and professional development. And mainly from 2 points of view, one from Black people to Black people, one from Black people to our community at large, so that they would understand, more about Black culture.
So, my name is Akia Sanders. I'm the programming chair of NIFIS.
Sorry, I went.
But as we go into our 5 pillars, I'll take over because this is everything. These 5 pillars is where all of our programming is derived from. So when you're talking about cultural awareness and education, we're promoting Black cultural awareness and educational experiences that enhance the community's understanding of traditions and history. Some of the events that we put together around that theme is Juneteenth, of course, is coming up this Sunday. Hopefully, everybody will be there. The MLK Gala, which the City of Sparks participated in this year, and probably saw a majority of your faces as well. Camp Culture, so this is something new that we're working on. This is a youth, we're putting together a youth leadership program, K through 12, correct?
It'll be eventually K through 12.
K through 12.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time that we'll actually host that. We're looking July 24th through August 4th, and then we'll do like a back to school bash at the end. But that's the next big thing after Juneteenth. So yeah, and then we also host academic skate nights.
Which pretty much gives the kids an award night for their grades throughout the year. With faith-based engagement, it is engagement and collaboration with our Black churches in Northern Nevada to create experiences that allow the community to worship and fellowship with each other. As you know, or if you're aware at any point, church was a heavy staple in the Black community. And like I said, that as we're reconfiguring what community looks like here, we are trying to figure out how to bring back that anchor of faith-based engagement. And so one of those will be Church in the Park. It will be sponsored by Second Baptist Church of Reno. And they're basically just gonna have their service outside in the park. Also, we wanna look at some restorative neighborhood projects. I did speak with Pastor Horn and to see if we can do some extensive partnership. Of course, that's City of Reno, but of course we have connections here in Sparks to see what we can do to kind of restore those neighborhoods where we come from. Holistic health, of course, it provides resources and educational opportunities for the Black community to learn more about holistic health and other alternative options to modern Western medicine, create opportunities to engage in dialogue about health disparities that exist in the Black community, and provide and maintain a list of providers to offer to members, such as some events that we want to do and do around them is Black maternal health. The statistics are raving, if you will, about the rate of mortality amongst Black women and childbirth. Of course, even with COVID, we know as minorities that we already suffer disparities. So COVID heightened in every sector, really, for minorities and poverty-stricken individuals. So we want to make sure that we bring not just for maternal health, but for mental health as well. Multi-generational mental health roundtable because it's effective from 0 to 99. Alternative medicine and wellness webinars so that people know that there's more beyond traditional medicine practices that can help sustain quality of life.
Civic engagement. So just to make clear, we are nonpartisan, but we do feel like it is our duty to educate our community on their civic duties and empowering them to have a voice. So we engage in educational opportunities for the community on civic engagement, exploring how government works in the state of Nevada at the state, county, and local levels, creating the opportunity to bring more awareness to the Black community on voting rights, the legislative process, and how to get involved if you so choose to do so. Some of the events that we'll put together around this is In the Know Civic Literacy Academy, and training sessions from the county registrar, Nevada Secretary of State, and this is just a few of them, but just so we can bring those resources to our community to keep them informed. And professional development. So we also provide opportunities to enhance professional development opportunities in the Black community, to include but not limited to networking engagements, resume writing, webinars, job fairs, leadership conferences, workshops, professional certificate opportunities, workforce training opportunities, et cetera. We're in the process of putting together a youth workforce development training, and it'll be in collaboration with our Youth Leadership Academy. But we have a few partners in the community that are on board and are interested, and we want to do like maybe 10th through 12th grade, some type of, not necessarily an internship program, but more of like training based where they can go and get these skills and also get a stipend and be able to know exactly what it feels like to work, as well as job fairs.
Here's our video highlighting our MLK and our FamFest. There was no music to it. If you want me to be the music, I can. No. That's my little cousin. We had a great turnout for this year's MLK. That was my sister. We actually, even through the snow, had a bigger turnout than even the year prior, and that was the year first back since COVID. We raised quite a bit of money. I think we are kind of being positioned as one of the premier events in the city. This as well as Juneteenth. I think that not only does it highlight, like we said, Dr. King's legacy in life, but we also award, as you see, other individuals in the community. This is part of the scholarship program. This year we did something a little different. We had 5 speakers and they all spoke on each of our pillars because we wanted to reiterate that we are reimagining what NEPCIS looks like in the community. Dr. Bayo, of course, was one of our speakers, Lily Barron. This young lady in the middle was phenomenal. They were all really good, and that's sponsored by the Nevada National Guard, of course, that's why. Co-founder, General Barry was there. And then we had our first annual FamFest. We had it during Black History Month with music, games, prizes. We had some vendors. We're definitely looking to expand this event. So we had a great time. We had a fitness session. Even the grown-ups were playing. Those are our kids. There's a happy president and but yeah, we definitely, again, we're looking to just expand all the way around so that we can become, like we said, we want to be the voice of the community, but we also want to be provide opportunity and resources through, our programming. So, however, we can become the connector. Okay, I think y'all get it. So that's the end of our. And she had a ball. Okay, she was dancing the whole time. Okay, so. Oh, see, and she did too. You see her? But okay, yeah, so that's our presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, I just want to thank you for, I know this is like the second generation of this group because I was part of the old one. You know, I see professionals and you're bringing professionals to the community. I always go to the dinners and I almost force my son to hear to the main speaker.
Yeah.
You always learn something. And it's a lot of inspiration, not just for the Black community, for the rest of us. And the little girl who spoke and read the poem was really amazing.
Yes, Sean.
So thank you for taking the next level of doing something amazing.
Thank you.
And any one of you guys have a question?
President Van, Jarrell Green for the record. Similar to what our chair just said, I want to praise you for the work that you've been doing with NEPCIS. Huge fan. Likewise, have enjoyed the MLK dinners and taking students to it. You know, I love seeing the video, seeing my little cousins in the video, things like that. However, on a non-personal note, what is it that the City of Sparks might be able to do to better support the organization? What are some things that you could leverage the city as a whole, or this board, or any other entities that you could think of to further the movement?
That is a heavy question. I feel like there are several venues. Number one, we would like to have some type of continued partnership where we are prevalent in the community, and Sparks in specific. I think that we have neglected, if you will, as an organization, this area and giving attention to it. So whatever we can do from the standpoint of connecting the Black community of Sparks to, you know, you all, then most definitely we can connect there. But, you know, of course, the one is, you know, funding if possible. If any, you know, lucrative partnership can happen in that regard as well. We would definitely like to bring more programming. This youth program will be a 6-month cohort. And so we've already kind of gotten, not promises per se, but we've had definitely conversation about, you know, having them touring the Reno government, et cetera. And so we want them to be well cognizant of every area, every facet of their community. So whatever can be done in that regard.
And
Sorry, my mom.
Oh, just to add on to that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Allison, specific numbers tend to help a little bit when we're asking for things. Do you have an idea of certain things that you're looking for?
Madam Program Chair.
yeah, no, I was about to say something. We definitely want much more collaboration. I would love to see the City of Sparks out more at these events. I believe the president gifted a table to the City of Sparks, and I don't know what that looks like for staffing and things like that, but
We would like multi-departmental
Yeah.
support.
yes.
Like
what-
we were talking, we had a county conversation today, and I said I can only envision if we had several entities from Reno, several entities from Sparks, several entities from the county to be participating in these events and MLK at Juneteenth as well. Because that's the other part is, while we're trying to gain community trust, they also want it from you as well. And to be in their faces and to be seen is really priority. Even it supersedes the financial contributions that we want to see y'all there, especially if you're in it for equity, for inclusion, you know, for diversity. And not just, you know, surface, hey, I'm here, take a picture, we're leaving. No, we really want active community participation from all facets.
And to serve as that resource hub too. Like she said, we met with the county earlier, but our vision is to have a section for each municipality, right? So the city of Reno has their section and, you know, their different departments, the city of Sparks and then the county. And everybody is joining in celebration of this event, but also informing and educating the community on resources. And that's how we all come together.
Yeah, Roberto Castillo for the record. Thank you very much for the presentation. So I've grown up here basically since '84. And can kind of pinpoint a few things that have happened since '84. And to be very candid, I didn't know very many African-American people in the community. I knew very few Latinos in the community, and now here we are, you know, all these years later, and it's awesome that you guys have been able to accomplish so much with what it seems like limited resources and stuff. So just the effort is definitely valid and needed. What I didn't see on the videos was police, fire.
They were there.
Were they there?
Yeah, the city of Sparks and Sparks PD, I believe. Yeah, they all bought tables at MLK. Reno PD bought tables at MLK. Washoe County Sheriff's Office bought tables at MLK. Our Domino's tournament that's happened on Sunday is hosted by RPD.
And we did reach out to Sparks.
Very cool.
we did reach out to Sparks, and I just think it was just a timing issue.
Yeah.
So,
But we talked to Chief Crawford yesterday, so
yeah.
he's on board.
Jarrell Green for the record. To piggyback off of this line of thought, are there specific resources from the city of Sparks that you would like to see represented if we were to come out to an event? Because I know, we could offer a plethora of resources. Are there specifics that pertain to housing, pertain to food, those types of things? Like maybe a top 3, that way we can articulate that to the remainder of staff and see what we could put together at some of these types of events?
No, yeah, I think representation matters, and unfortunately, I'm wearing a couple different hats today. But just the work that we're doing on this board, and even the work that the City of Sparks and the amazing work that Allison is doing, it needs to be highlighted. People don't know what they don't know. And when you're there, you're just a human being having a conversation with another one. And so it's just being there. Really, it's not a specific, like, obviously the county has, the health district and the police department, and that works, but just a simple City of Sparks table, because you may be able to answer that question about the police department if the police department doesn't have the time to be there, and, so, just the baby steps.
If I could specify, though, I could say any resources as far as job training, as far as home housing, and equity in that regard. Anything that can advance our communities with direct resources, that's what we're looking for. Something that we can literally connect them straight to, instead of any runaround or any processes that are unnecessary. Anything that we can receive that helps our community overall.
Jarrell Green for the record. Perfect, and I think all of us would agree we've been privileged over the last few months to learn about amazing resources that speak to just that, and having specific individuals that we could recommend to participate in those types of events. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Elvira Diaz for the record. I like the job fairs that you're going to offer for the young kids. When you start with somebody young and put a face that somebody can maybe mentor, so maybe we can ask City Sparks or someone to mentor the kids.
Yes.
So the kids have somebody to look forward, and also recognize a good people from the community who's already been successful and been amazing, so we can remember them.
Yes.
So I think that's the 2 things that I see, that how we can support each other. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, Roberto Castillo for the record. I think to piggyback on what the President was saying, the Chair, the acknowledgement of certain key individuals in the community, kind of integrate them into the fold to see that they're actually accomplishing the hard work that is. The police departments all across the country have a real hard meshing within the community right now. There's a lot of heaviness that's happening, and I think showcasing a police officer, whether it's RPD or Highway Patrol or Sparks Police Department, that contributes back to the community. It's funny that a single 8x12 piece of paper with a few print could really change the dynamic of somebody wanting to stay in and show up every single year. It's definitely something that I think is needed, because as everybody and all of us on the panel show up to our individual jobs, I think acknowledgement is one of those things that even in the most dire of economic downturns, it just feels good to be acknowledged that you're trying, regardless of how difficult or challenging it is. So, I personally have always asked myself how I can provide stuff in regards to like credit information and financial literacy and stuff like that. So, let me know if there's anything that I can provide. I have time available, and and the cool thing is we all know a lot of different people, which is the great part about Reno and Sparks and Carson City Fernley. So if there's anything at all that we can add back to a meeting space, or even getting together the sophomores, juniors, and seniors in local schools to provide anything, to whether it's, mentoring or basic information. It's very simple. It doesn't cost anything, and it's the time that we provide to this group or any of the other ones that we've seen, like you said, in the last few months, is part of the direction I think would be very, very helpful to congeal how amazing Sparks is. And I agree. I love living here, and it's been a lot of years, and it's grown. I mean, it absolutely looks totally different than it did back in '84. So, congrats, and let me know anything I can provide to assist.
Thank you.
Jarrell Green for the record. Thank you so much, Roberto, for those comments. And similar to what Roberto was saying, I think knowledge can go much further than even financial funding. And I'll offer myself as a resource as well. So my name is Jarrell Green. Once again, I work at the University of Nevada, Reno. I'm our trio and McNair counselor. I actually noticed in the video you had Marsha Dupree, Dr. Marsha Dupree. And so I now hold her position at the university. And so my primary goal is to work with our local students to help them access higher education, be it here at the university or elsewhere. And I'm really excited. I have several local students. One will go off to Northwestern on a $300,000 scholarship. Another one will go to Colorado on a $300,000 scholarship. And being a local Black male, I understand how to help these young people shape their stories and pitch their stories in a way that can really open up lots of opportunities and lots of doors. Typically, I only get to work with students within our programs. However, on a personal note, I'm more than willing to volunteer my services. I love Nebkis, I love, Caprice and Angie Taylor, and these individuals. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to personally join Nebkis and get connected, but I'm more than willing to offer, the knowledge and insight that I have, just like Roberto, because I firmly believe, if we empower our youth, then, they're gonna rise up and multiply and have exponential impact. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Rose Meza for the record. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming in and spreading information about the Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society. I did attend the MLK Gala about, I think it was 2021 or 2022, but I learned so much and I deeply enjoyed the event. I went with the School of Medicine, and that actually leads to my question of if you guys are connected with the school, UNR School of Medicine, and two, if you guys are aware of the resources the School of Medicine provides in terms of health, and in case anyone's interested in free healthcare services, et cetera, because the School of Medicine does provide these clinics in Reno, not only Reno, but in rural communities that range from women healthcare, like pap smears, breast exams, up into like children general exams and vaccines and so on. It's so many great services that they offer, but I'm just curious if you guys are aware of that, and if not, then I'm more than happy to also offer myself as a resource. I'm the Outreach Project Coordinator, Rose Meza, and I'm always here to help out connecting anyone who's interested in healthcare services, free healthcare services. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
That's an amazing, thank you. Everybody, thank you very much. We have had conversation with the School of Medicine, but it was towards the campaign to get more Black doctors enrolled, or students to become doctors. But that is an exact, direct resource that we could use for the community, for sure.
Roberto Castillo for the record. Is there a meeting space that you guys normally
We are in
occupy?
need of
or-
a meeting space. We're in need of an office building.
Okay.
If that's a resource Sparks can provide, we would be grateful for that. Yeah.
Do you need it like 24/7, all 31 days of the month? Or is there a way to kind of integrate into a, I don't know, bi-weekly thing or something to where, and then how big of a scope do you guys need? Because I know that at the beginning, attendance can be somewhat limited. And as it grows and it shows more of a demand for people showing up and knowing that the resource is there, it can grow into a much larger and more robust a meeting space. But, what does it look like right now?
Currently, we're all working satellite, and we would like to have an office so that people can come in. We could meet also there, our board as well. We could house workshops and, opportunities for the community directly, and just probably have maybe set aside some resources, not a small amount. We don't want to step on anybody's toes, but we do want to see what type of educational resources we can provide for the community. So right now, we can start small, but we definitely are looking to expand to whatever is available to us.
Allison McCormick, for the record. We are fresh out of office space, but if you need conference rooms, meeting rooms like this, that sort of thing, on a more intermittent basis, we can definitely have some conversations about making those available to you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.
Jarrell Green, for the record. One of the other things that just came to mind, one of the initial ideas with the inception of this board was to help diversify our workforce with the city of Sparks. And that was another thing that I wanted to bring up as we had your attention. Would you be interested in maybe, doing some type of recruitment projects or initiatives, things like that? So I
Yes.
wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. We had this conversation also earlier today.
Elvira Diaz, for the record, in my work, I work in a C3 organization. Right now, currently, probably we can have space. I just need to kind of coordinate the space for a small meeting. So you can start at least allocation. And also, we do try to do in the C3, like civic engagement. I don't know, but next year I'm going to be 62 myself, and I'm planning to early retire. So my biggest job, my biggest event that I want to do is to collect 100 first-time voters. So you're welcome to get kids that just turned 18. So it's go first-time voters to big event with party, tacos, mariachi events. I want to make it super big, so you guys invited. The idea is to make fun, to participate in civic engagement. Doesn't matter who you vote for, what kind of party you are, that doesn't matter. The important is to hear voices.
Yes.
So, I can help that with you guys in my work capacity, no personal. So I need to coordinate you want to, that would be so amazing.
Absolutely.
Because the more people, just imagine in all our youth, the ones just turned 18, won't get out and vote. So we can hear the youth voice. So thank you.
Roberto Castillo, for the record. We have a branch on the Summit Mall, right by BJ's Brewery. It's got TV, audio, can actually do a broadcast, I believe, with where people can call in. And then the whole lobby that used to be the branch, we've hosted the American Heart Association. We've hosted, I think, the March of Dimes, which I think probably 100 people. It's not like insanely huge, but big enough that you can actually do like a cocktail hour, because what we did there. But there's a whole meeting space with chairs and a screen and everything like this. It's available 7 days a week. The only thing we have to do is make sure there's a community internal calendar to see exactly, when each of the departments for you. So I work for United Federal Credit Union here in town. We have 6 locations, and my location is down by the Summit Mall. And I can just make sure and ask my supervisor about, making it available. It's a very unused space. We're paying a lot of overhead to have it there, and to be empty, I'm sure that the credit union would be behind, literally financial literacy. If you guys have heard me talk about money basically at every single meeting that we've had, and if there's anything I can do to help families understand how to manage their credit scores, savings, overhead, credit cards, car loans, anything at all, and help them really get on the right footing, especially in a downturn with the economy, that it's just a no-brainer. So just get a hold of me. And we've been asking, how do we integrate in, and anybody's is welcome to be there. It's an easy place. If you guys have ever walked to a United Federal, it's a very unassuming kind of financial institution. So
The reason we're laughing is because these are conversations we have, and what's unfortunate is I sit on this board and I don't know what many of you do.
I'm laughing because God is good. I'm sorry. Really, it's just almost like we're getting poured into. So I'm just grateful.
Like, we'll definitely connect after. I'll get your
We were literally talking earlier about what? Connecting with what? A credit union.
union.
So.
Jarrell Green for the record. Speaking of God being good, I want to reference that. So I want to go back to potentially helping facilitate your members meeting with the city of Sparks and some of these openings that we have available. We have an amazing human resource department here. I know they've presented here before, and this is something they're open to. Allison, this is kind of a question. Would it be possible for us to put together a recruitment event if we could leverage Jessica and the NEBKIS organization to bring in potential suitors for those positions?
So last year, we had a couple of #SparksProud community events with representation from all of the different city departments, like cool big equipment for kids to climb around on, and some canines running after stuff, and a dunk tank at the one in September. That was fun. We are in the works of planning another one of those, probably for roughly that September timeframe. So perhaps we can connect between now and then about your organization being there and having a presence, and getting the word out, and hopefully go from there.
Absolutely.
Those events are really about, connecting with the community at the forefront, and hopefully filling jobs in a self-interested way. So
Perfect. Well, and I was thinking one of your pillars being the faith and being the churches, and you mentioned Second Baptist, and so potentially, if you could advertise that through the churches, and then we could pull in, maybe that would be a win-win for everyone.
Not only that, we are also realizing, like I said, our community will probably run online. So we're working on NEBKIS TV. And by August, we'll have a show called Culture Convo, hosted by Tabney Dozier. And she will be having the discussions that we should be having on the show. However, there's opportunity for advertisement. So if we could get an ad or something in that regard for our initial push, if it's in September, our first one is in August, we could have it for August and September. Because it'll be early in the month. We'll have our show once a month.
Jessica, could you please give us a big invitation? You have a big problem to fill 2 days on a big event. This right now, we're in Facebook Live. So people who are seeing this in the Facebook, you can invite them to the Juneteenth event, please.
Yes, it'll be June 18th, Sunday, June 18th, not the 17th. We tried to do too big, we got ambitious. It'll only be the 18th. It'll be at Idlewild Park. Church in the Park starts at 11 o'clock from 1. Then from 1 to 7, we'll have games, prizes, entertainment from local and abroad. It'll be hosted by Assemblywoman Angie Taylor, who is also a co-founder of NEBKIS. We'll have police department, we'll have the fire trucks, we'll have several resources. We'll have a village just for kids to have an area. We'll have the Bike Boys Car Club. It's just gonna be a full event. Food, okay? M&Ms, food truck. We're gonna have just a good time.
Can you please tell us what Juneteenth is for the people who may not familiar with?
Sure.
Thank you.
Juneteenth celebrates the 1865 announcement to Galveston, Texas, that slavery was over. It was the last city to be informed of the Emancipation Proclamation that was signed in November by Abraham Lincoln, but was official January 1st, 1863. So it took them 2 years just to finally get to that point. We celebrate that with Galveston, nationwide, just as a symbolism of freedom. However, with sharecroppers and extended slavery, if you will, enslaved people, there was still, for decades after. I have a cousin that went to a plantation in New Orleans. She said the last sharecroppers were finished in 1977. 75, one of them. Either way, 1970s. as opposed to 1865. So, and even now, there's still psychological and, economical, everywhere, in every facet, there's still things that we need to overcome and recorrect and redirect to a more equitable community and country. But Juneteenth is specifically, and it's not a Black Lives Matter event. Contrary to whatever popular passive-aggressive belief is on the internet, it is something that celebrates freedom for all. It is an American history event, not just Black history. And we are there to celebrate with everybody.
And thanks to our last legislative session and the governor, it is now a state holiday. So Monday will be observed nationally and through the state of Nevada.
So I said yesterday at the proclamation, everybody's gonna have the day off, so you have no reason to not come on Sunday. So.
Jarrell Green for the record. Akia, thank you so much for your comment earlier. I think you brought up a great point that we don't really know what all the others do on this board. And I just really wanted to reemphasize it because I really have a heart for this and I really want to help. So as I mentioned, I'm the TRIO and McNair counselor. And so if you're unaware of what TRIO programs are, they're federally funded programs. So there's actually thousands of them across the country at thousands of universities. We go as far as Guam. And so we're a very large organization. And because we're federally funded, the initiative isn't a state thing. So truly, it's helping these kids' dreams come true. And so we start working with these students with the Upward Bound or Upward Bound Math Science program that's at 8 of our local high schools. Oftentimes, though, to be honest, the Upward Bound program struggles with recruiting Black youth. And I think a lot of that is because the recruitment typically falls to the teachers. Unfortunately, being a Black youth in our high schools, those teachers don't always identify you. They don't see that potential in you, therefore you're not referred. So I think your organization could play a key role in that because everything is paid for by the Department of Education for these students. So these students have the opportunity to actually, they'll stay at the dorms at the university during the summer. They'll have an academic counselor who works with them and meets with them at least twice a month to give them specific academic counseling. They have free tutoring services that take place at the university. They also get the opportunity every month to come to the university to be prepared for college. So freshman year is learning how to actually study, learning how to actually be organized, prepared, get involved. Sophomore year, they learn about different career opportunities, career paths. They take a MBTI personality test. As juniors, they then learn ACT and SAT preparation, how to actually apply for scholarships, all the scholarships that are out there. And then as a senior, they're actually helped through that. And then once students make it to the university, if they stay here, that's where our TRIO program comes in and offers very similar services. But if those students, with helping them persist, right? So making sure they have tutoring, they have that person who sees them, understands them in an institution where they often feel unseen or feel like they're meeting individuals they can't relate with. If they want to go to graduate school, I personally work with the director of admissions with the med school. And so we partner together to try and bridge some of the disparities that we have with representation and things like that. And then our McNair Scholars Program actually helps some of those students who want to go on to get their PhD. So we would help them find a faculty mentor on the university campus. We would pay for them to conduct research. We send them to conferences. Oh, that's what I forgot too. All of them kind of get to go on college tours. So like the high school students, we'll pay to take them to different cities and show them the opportunities that are out there and those types of things. But as I said, all of these programs really struggle with recruiting Black youth. So I think there's definitely opportunity for partnership there as well. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
I just want to know, did you bug my phone or what?
Thank you very much for your presentation, and I think we need to move for the next item. So thank you so much thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we're going to go to the next item, item 7, general business item. Consideration, discussion for the next. This is consideration, inclusion, and possible action regarding the community calendar, including but not limited to brainstorm possible events and suggestions for distribution and maintaining a community calendar.
Thank you, Chair Diaz and members of the board. For the record, my name is Allison McCormick. I'm your Assistant City Manager and Staff Liaison. At our last meeting, we were talking about a community events calendar where we could share cultural events, probably like Juneteenth, and other types of celebrations and things for the community to participate in, and also to help staff identify more close in time or early for events, those kinds of things where the City of Sparks should be making its presence known. Since our last meeting, Ms. Bogan identified that we actually do have a community events calendar on our city website. That's cityofsparks.us for all those listening out in TV land. However, that calendar has traditionally only been used for city-sponsored events. The Rib Cook-Off downtown, or registration for our City of Sparks Parks and Recreation programs, those kinds of things, not for cultural events or events like Juneteenth that are going to take place in the city of Reno's Idlewild Park. This is a good time and the time set aside for us to start brainstorming some of those other types of events that this board would like to see on that community calendar.
Okay, I'm going to see who wants to speak before me. So go ahead, Roberto Castillo.
Roberto Castillo for the record. So, listen, I think the big thing that we're missing, or that we lack, or that could be a huge opportunity for what we're doing up here is everybody that you guys have put in front of us from the very beginning has added a crazy instrumental service, empathy, direction, love for community. And the funny part that I find is sometimes people sit out there and super organized, highly mobilized to do what they're doing. I think the Asian group that was in front of us was
ACDC.
amazing and really knew a lot of stuff that could help the Hispanic community. In integrating this calendar, I think it would be really cool to kind of also highlight a way for each of these entities to know about each other, because Sparks has always kind of been on an island to some regard for me, looking from the outside in. And the more cohesion that each group can have as they come in, present, explain, the senior group that presented was amazing also in understanding the $10,000 thing that was there for like water heaters and all these things. Each one of these groups in our community that could thrive and really help out their kids, their elders, their hardworking members, I think would really, so I would definitely say that one of the things in this calendar would be somehow to have cohesion, to let other groups that are presented in front of us know about each other, even if it's a small coffee hour or something, quarterly or biannually or something. Because there's just so much. I'm blown away by how much you guys get to see, and that I've seen. I didn't even know it existed. This group is amazing that just presented as well, and it would just help them leapfrog years of struggle to understand how to get to money, how to get in front of the right person, maybe have leadership or anything to help them drive what they're looking to do. So with all these events that we're looking to do, the Asian group, I'm sure, has some stuff that can be brought in that could also help out the African-American group, that could also help out the Latino group, that could help out the UNR, the young kids that were here, that were, crazy talented young people. And again, I think it's that calendar is that cohesion piece, so people can go in there and say, oh, I didn't know that even was there, and kind of bring them in. So sorry if it was a long.
Not at all. I think that is one of the main benefits that I'm hoping we can achieve through at least starting to branch out as far as what events are on this calendar.
Jarrell Green for the record. Thank you so much for all of those ideas, Roberto. Similar to that, I guess I would propose to allow for any community affinity type group to propose items to be added to the calendar. As Roberto said, I think there's so many that have come before us, but there are also many that we have not even had the chance to speak with yet. But you know, there's so much going on. But if we were able to have a way for them to submit things that were going on and then we added it to the calendar, I think that's what allows for equity, because then it allows the individuals viewing the calendar to choose, okay, this speaks to me, or this would help me, this would benefit me.
May I ask a follow-up question to that, Chair Diaz?
Yes, do please, yes.
Thank you. So are you suggesting that community groups would propose, you know, event X be added to the calendar, and then that staff would bring that before this board for
Yes.
discussion and decision?
Yeah, what I hear, we say we're going to have like a calendar who's alive, like it's open. And we can start right now for the groups who've been attending to these meetings. That could be a good beginning start. And then as events or groups start emerging, they can reach probably to you, and then we decide if we put that calendar. And it's going to take some time, and we're going to go have also the survey that we're going to do. So this is, you know, Rome didn't start in one day. You know, I want to do things overnight, but I know it's not possible. So I know it's going to take some time, but at least the two things that are here today is connecting the groups that are here, so those groups can help each other with resources. Put that in the calendar that really have serious parks, but add the community calendar or the nonprofit calendar or whatever you want to add it. Maybe we can provide the links or for example, the website or the places so people can go deeper. And then we can have like no stock calendar. We can keep moving the calendar if it's possible.
Roberto Castillo for the record. I think a good thing, and T is always very eloquent about this. She's been very calm today. I think it'd be good, because I think what the question that you asked was, if we have a group that has an event, how do we propose it in front of us before just simply adding it to the calendar, and at least have some balance and recourse, I would say, to you know, to be fair. I don't know if it would be equitable to establish a very simple measure of who they are, what they look to provide, how they assimilate with the community, and what the overall either goal or benefit they bring by having that as part of the collective. I don't know if that would be a rational thing to have. So if somebody says, hey, we're gonna be holding a mariachi for, you know, the teens up at Swope Middle School for, you know, the last week of September. They fill out a simple slip. They, you know, they just showcase what it is, what they hope to do, just so the community understands kind of the direction of what it's there for, and adds a little bit more value. So I don't know if that would be something that would help you guys in integrating the different events onto the calendar.
T. Tran, for the record, Roberto. So, yeah, I think obviously in the spirit of fairness and equity, we need to be not careful, but we need to ensure that there's some sort of, it can't be this open calendar free-for-all, right? Because then you'll have like a neighborhood block party on there or something, and it won't be, and it's on a city calendar, so it can't necessarily show up like that either, because it needs to be supported or sanctioned by the city, and there's a lot of different guidelines and safety and certain, you know, if there's going to be an event, there might need to be a special event permit, things like that, right? So I'm thinking out loud, and just kind of as we're talking it through, that the best way to do this is, you know, we just need to probably follow up with these community groups that we have, and just continue to grow that network. And then say when there's a, you know, Juneteenth, it's kind of an easy one, right? Because it's a federally recognized holiday. We understand what the parameters are and what's going on. And I'm sure they've already done all their special event permitting and all the things because they're renting out a park through another government entity. So I want to see the participation with all the groups. That I think what's going to happen is we're needing to, not from the dais, but reach out, staff, I hate to give staff homework, some of us need to reach out to our prospective, contacts and just say, hey, what's a cool thing that you guys want to do? And then we do need to have some sort of presentation or something brought, because if we're going to put the City of Sparks stamp on it, it has to go through staff and get kind of the okay, from what I understand. And correct me if I'm wrong, but we want to be careful and we want to ensure that everything is safe, everything is good, and we have the support, and we want the support. And, Sparks PD shows up everywhere. Like, those guys are everywhere. I don't know how they do all the things, but for them to be at all the things, we need to be organized. So I think that's probably the best way is a slip of some sort that says, hey, we'd love to do this event. This is what our thought is. And then we can help kind of guide what that is. And then if it's appropriate to be on a city calendar, it is a community calendar, but it's a city calendar. So that would be my 2 cents on how we propose that. It's the reach back out to the organizations, get a little organized, have a coffee with Allison, buy her a glass of wine, and see what she says.
Roberto Castillo for the record. I think also, if the staff or us could possibly do maybe a quarterly, as we build up the list of people that are presented in front of us, to maybe reach back out to them, hey, how is your group doing? Is there any up and coming things? Would you like to have a, opportunity to mention a particular function or drive or scholarship or something to where the city functionally reaches back out to them? I don't know how laborious that is or not, but even a quick email that just looks generic in format to each one of the groups that presents, I think would add value to just keep them engaged, other than them coming to us, as us going back out to them and saying, we really enjoyed your presentation. What else do we do to add more to it?
Jarrell Green for the record. I appreciate what Roberto and T are saying. To play devil's advocate, though, I know timing and staffing is always a limitation. Therefore, would it be possible, and I don't know, so this is more of a question. This is what we do at the university when it's outside organization doing an event. We add a disclaimer, and we have like an external links kind of reference page. Would there be the ability to have an external calendar almost? There's obviously the official city calendar, and to T's point, you have to worry about safety and all of those types of things. But I think sometimes, I worry about the staffing for the City of Sparks having to jump through all of these things, but also some of these organizations, I think President Van could attest to, they're working their full-time jobs, but then they're also trying their hardest on the side to do these things as well. So as much as it sounds like these are just a few slips of paper to fill out, it might be a lot of extra work that makes it so that it's not able to be advertised.
Kia Centers for the record. To go back to your original question, did you ask us if you would bring those community events to us to vote on?
That was my original question. However, based on the discussion, I'm kind of identifying 2 potential paths. One, I think, as you said, Member Tran, it definitely starts with me reaching back out to the groups that already have presented to find out what kinds of events they have going on. And I think the second piece of that is putting some parameters on what we put on the city's website. I think Juneteenth is a really good and timely example. They are a sanctioned special event by another close regional partner. So maybe that's where we ought to start, is with those special events that have permits, either with the county or with City of Reno or also with City of Sparks. But I think, some of the Latino-focused events in the Wells area would be good examples of those also. So that may be the best and most concrete way to start with this. I think that also resolves some of the concerns around staff time. You know, we can go out to City of Reno and Washoe County's websites and pull in their events.
Kia Sanders for the record. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we all answered your question. Because I felt like it was going to the right a little bit. And then the second one was, I agree with what everyone on the board said about some sort of vetting process. I think that would be crucial, and I'm sure the city of Sparks already has one in place before you guys, stamp your seal of approval on any event or agree to participate. But I do like the idea of bringing it to this board so that we can discuss before it goes on the calendar.
Roberto Castillo for the record. Listen, I will always come up with crazy ideas just because that's just my personality. But I think it really, the very first meeting that we had was how do we define the terms of the group name? And I think the fact that it has the word inclusion, I just want to actively always push the envelope to that end. How do we keep making groups, people, community, different, demographics feel included? And really appreciate the time and effort that you help us with that and keep us in line with the logistical, stuff that you do, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so it looks like we have an idea how to start. And maybe like every meeting if we have a new event, we can put in the agenda so we vote if we include that in the calendar. Something like that.
Definitely, that's a possibility. I think what I will do at our next meeting is report back on
Yes.
where we're at, how pulling in those permitted events with Reno and Washoe County into our calendar is going, where we're running into issues, those kinds of things. This is agendized for a motion if you so choose. I think the feedback I've received is plenty clear for me to go forth. But if the board desires to make a motion, you do have the ability to do so.
Roberto Castillo for the record. So just real quickly, so say next meeting we show up and there's this new calendar up on the screen. Can that be like one of the bullet points of the things that we go through as our normal meetings, is just to see this, organic calendar that we have, just to see the progress of, what's getting on there, maybe if people have submitted in for a thing or not. I don't know how complex that is or not, but if we can actually make that as part of our normal function of items that we go through in our meetings, just to at least acknowledge that item is being addressed.
Yes, we can definitely add that as a standing agenda item.
T-Tran. Okay, so do we need to necessarily make a motion? You've got a good start. Do we need to, quote, continue this? Do we just say, thanks for your presentation? What do we do?
You can say thanks for your presentation, and I will report back next time.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go item number 8. I wouldn't want to be so long this meeting. So comments for the committee. So we're going to request for future agenda items. Anyone? None? Okay. We're going to have committee member announcements. Any announcement? Okay, the announcement, I would like to mention that we just lost Gino Martini. He was a mayor of City of Sparks. I met him when we have one of the first Cinco de Mayo events. And since that big event, I walk with 1,000 people. And then we have a nice conversation. He's always open to listen to us and do things. So we just need to mention that he contributed to the city of Sparks, and we're going to have his memorial. I want to ask probably Allison to mention about the memorial if it's possible. Thank you.
Roberto Castillo for the record. I met Mayor Martini. He actually worked for Great Basin Credit Union. He used to do auto loans back in the day. And I will tell you that the one thing that I read about him that was really cool is we need people in the community that are willing to do the unpopular thing, which is to speak up and kind of push the ball down the field. And I know that it can be a bit obnoxious at times. And I think that's one of the things that makes me both good and bad at times is me being obnoxious. But he really changed the dynamic of Sparks, because Sparks was even sleepier back in the day before he got really involved in moving some of the things. So, you know, as people come in and present in front of us, I think it's awesome to really see people like, you know, Mayor Martini and what he did for the community and where we are today with all the amazing stuff. And, you know, it's awesome.
Any other comments? Okay, so we're going to pass for staff announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Diaz. Allison McCormick for the record. As you mentioned, Mayor Martini's memorial service will be held at the Rock Church on Vista Boulevard, Saturday, June 24th at 11 a.m. So if anyone is so inclined to attend, please do so. Other than that, our next meeting will be July 11th, same time, same place. So I look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you so much, Allison. And we're going to pass item number 9. Anyone has a public comment? I don't see nobody in the public comments. So our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.